Hi guys, Maikeru here. This is just a video on which invention machine is the best. So in this video, I'm going to speak about all the different machines, which one gives the most profit and how much profit each one actually gives. I'll leave timestamps in the description for each machine, so if you want to skip to a specific machine, then you can easily just click that timestamp in the description to find out how much GP you'll get with that one. Anyway, let's get into the video. A quick note before we get started, this video will be testing out the tier 2 machines of each type with the max amount able to be built at once of that machine. This means I won't be testing out the low level machines because there's always an upgrade of every single one, and I'll be testing the upgrade only for each machine. Low tier machines typically aren't worth it and they're kind of expensive to run. You can always mix and match machines as well to maximize energy usage. For example, I'll show you how much GP you can make with 2 auto plank makers, but then you're going to have some energy left over which you could then spend on something else if you really wanted to. So you could mix and match additional machines in order to make the most money per day. Now that that's cleared up, let's get into the video. First up, we have the hide tanner GP rates. Typically, black dragon hide is the best to tan in most situations, but others can be better at times. You can start tanning hides and you can use 3 tier 2 machines at maximum. This then gives you 420 hides tanned per hour with the 3 machines. You need to minus 50k GP for charges and then the de-hide cost per hour. This means you're making around 50 GP profit per black dragon hide tanned. This would only result in 21,000 GP profit an hour. Getting around 21,000 GP profit an hour is about 500,000 GP profit per day. 500k GP per day is not that great out of machines, and the hide tanner is one of the worst. I would typically advise not to build these because they aren't that good. Next up, we have the disassembler GP rates. Doing 24 hours of maple logs with 4 machines netted the following. It gave me an average of 100 junk and 140 simple parts per hour. This then would equate to making 168 divine charge empties. These divine charge empties sell at around 7,500 GP each. I used up 22,080 charges, which is 7.36 divine charges, so I made 1,260,000 GP in parts, but then you have to take away the 440k for the charges at 60k each, and 460k for the maple logs at 80 GP each. This would actually only work out to be 360,000 GP a day profit if you're going to make divine charge empties. This is really poor and the least amount of money out of all of them. It's the easiest to do and the lowest level requirement, so it's still worth doing if it's the only one you can do, but it just doesn't cut it compared to the rest. Although if you did make full divine charges, you make a bit more money, which I'll show quickly now. If you actually made divine charges, the cost for the energy is around 49 to 50k a charge. 168 divine charges fully made would be 9 to 10k profit each. This then makes you more money than if you just made the empty divine charges. The parts would then be worth 1,680,000 GP. Again, you'll have to still minus the price for the charges and for the logs, and you would be making around 600 to 780k GP a day in profit. The only problem with making your own divine charges is the buy limit on energies can be very annoying. If you're making 168 divine charges a day, that's a lot of energy every single day that you're going to need to use. The buy limit on energy is 25,000, and you don't want to be buying all different tiers of energies because some don't make you as much money. If you have a fair amount of spare cash that you can spend on a buy offer on energy over time, so you're buying the energy every day alongside disassembling every day, then you'll be fine. But if you don't have tons of money, you're better off just making the divine charge empties, because it does cost quite a lot of energy. The next machine I'm going to cover is the partial potion producer. The good unfinished potions to make are things like lantadymes, dwarf weeds, irits, etc. These ones are good because they're used in super potions, which are an ingredient for extremes, for overloads and stuff like that, so they're always going to maintain a good price. People use them to train the early levels, and then they're really good for the later levels too, so it makes sense. You can make unfinished potions with 3 machines at the same time. You would get 120 potions per hour from 3 machines. You would need to minus 12,500 GP for charges and 8,000 GP for vials per hour. This then means you make around 350 to 400 GP profit per unfinished potion made. This would then equate to being 42 to 48,000 GP profit each hour. It honestly depends on what the margins on the unfinished potion are at the time. It constantly changes, so you will need to keep an eye on it from week to week. But this does mean that the partial potion producer is 1 to 1.2 million GP profit per day, which is the best one so far. Another machine is the plank maker. You can make mahogany planks with 2 machines at the same time. 80 planks are made per hour with 2 machines. You will have to minus 24,000 GP for charges and 65,000 for the logs per hour. This means you're making around 650 GP profit per plank made. This would then equate to being 52,000 GP profit from mahogany planks each hour. Making mahogany planks for a whole day would be 1,250,000 profit. This is slightly better than the partial potion producer, but planks are on the decrease, so I don't know how low planks will actually go, but right now this is definitely really nice money. The last machine I'm going to cover is the alchemizer. So if you're wondering what some good things to alch are, you have the rune 2-handers that you can buy in bulk in World 2 and in portable worlds, or you can buy 100 per 4 hours on the GE. Rune plate bodies are okay as well. Dragon longsword, dragon maces, everything like that are pretty decent. Onyx bolts are really good as well, but they're expensive to bulk buy. All of the money for the bulk buying really does add up. The best way to use the alchemizer, in my opinion, is alching things that you get from Slayer or Bossing. You get a ton of alchables from Bossing or Slayer, so that you could just stick them in and then alch the stuff you've had drop for even more profit. The buy limit can be really annoying on rune items and stuff, because obviously you can alch 200 things in 4 hours, but you can only buy 100 of each rune item per 4 hours. But either way, I worked out how much you would make from 24 hours of alching with 2 machines. You could do 50 alchs an hour with 2 high tier machines. You would have to minus 50 nature runes and 12,000 GP in charges to run every single hour. This would be 40 to 70k GP an hour profit from the alchs, depending on how good of a margin you can get on the items that you buy. This would be anywhere from 1 mil to 1.7 million GP a day profit, which makes this technically the best to use for money. What you gotta remember though is the buy limits can be very limiting, but if you're alching your own stuff, it's gonna be the best one by far, because you're gonna be making that profit very easily and have a bulk amount of items to chuck in there all the time. If you were going to build any machines, the alchemizer is probably the one I would recommend over all others. Thank you so much for watching. Do give the video a like if you did enjoy, subscribe if you're new for loads of future content all related to RuneScape 3. There's lots of information on screen if you care to check out any of that. Hopefully this video was able to help you choose which invention machine you wanted to build. And until next time, see ya.